And it's games time, where we talk about video games. So Dan and I checked out FIFA 13 recently. Dan, who is a FIFA veteran of sorts, I guess, and me, who's never played a FIFA or a soccer game in my entire life. What were your first impressions, Dan?
Firstly, I want to hear what you thought about this thing. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't go as far as to say veteran, but I've played my fair share of FIFA games, probably semi-seriously here in the office since about FIFA 09 or 10 was when we started getting really into it. Okay. So we've seen the progression of the series, but I want to know what you thought as a first time.
Okay, well, the great thing about FIFA games is it's pretty easy to understand the basic mechanics because, I mean, it's soccer. Everyone knows how to play soccer. You kick the ball, but it's not as simple as that.
There are no rules. It's just a ball and some grass.
Yes. So, I thought obviously it's a really pretty looking game. Graphics-wise, it looks great. They have this mini-game thing that they introduced. I believe this is new to the FIFA series as well, where it kind of teaches new players the skills that are required in this game. So things like shooting goals or passing, and the mini games sort of train you in these mechanics in a way to make you able to, I don't know, get better at the game and be able to play it more.
So it's more than just jumping into games. It's a way to actually hone your specific skills. I saw some of them in action, and there was one where they were trying to hit targets near the goals. So it was more than just kind of holding the power button and hoping for the best. It was steering shots.
Yeah, well, there's more to like FIFA than that, especially when you're doing passes as well. They have they've also introduced a new mechanic called First Touch, and it's sort of the way you pass the ball matters because if you do like say a poor pass, the receiving player who it goes to, you can't handle them as easily and it's not as smooth. Yep. So I thought that was a really cool touch as well.
Yeah, no, it is, and it does whether you're playing at the the first time level or the professional level, that does actually really change up the way that the game plays out because you've got a couple of factors at play. You've got the receiver and their skill level. You've got you, the controlling player, and the amount of power you put behind the shot. The trajectory of it, and that actually means that rather than the predictable, they trap it at their feet or they run on with it every time. Sometimes they'll kind of bounce off a foot, they'll concede possession, they won't trap it cleanly, they'll break pace, and it's those little animations that make it feel like it's more than just a kind of aerial ping pong.
Yeah, and there's fun stuff going on in the backgrounds as well. I mean, the way that the game controls the players when you're not controlling them, because obviously you're playing one guy at a time who's kicking the ball around, and the other guys are circling the field and doing their thing. And the way the game controls it, it's very intuitive, so you'll always have a player where you want them to be in the end, especially when you're wanting to intercept other teams.
Yeah, and that's actually something they've said they're changing this year. They're revamping the AI so that it will run onto the ball a little bit better. They'll open up space, which we didn't see because all the play we did was against other human players in multiplayer matches. So I'm interested to see if that is true. The other big change that they're making is the second generation of the Impact engine that they brought in last year, I think it was FIFA 12 that brought it in. And basically it meant that when two players collided, they had a chance to kind of ragdoll and go a little bit kind of all over the shop. But the problem was that all these videos ended up on YouTube of things not quite working as intended, people kind of stacking up and knocking over, doing bizarre stuff. And this year they're saying that should be improved, and the off-the-ball jostling that happens, so when they're not actually in possession, should be a lot better.
Oh, okay, well, I saw a little bit of that go on in one of our games, actually. It was pretty funny. Made for good entertainment value.
Yep. So the other big thing that they're adding in this year's game, which we didn't see, it's probably worth mentioning as well, is Connect functionality for the Xbox 360 version. They haven't talked a lot about, they alluded to it a little bit at E3 with the fact that you can yell at the TV, you can do stuff like substitutions, you can change formations, and if you swear at the TV because you're unhappy with the call, the commentary will reflect that. But whether you'll get ejected from the game, fires out the disc at you, shreds it up or something, they haven't confirmed that yet.
So yeah, overall, I thought it was a nice introduction into the soccer game genre, I guess, because I've never played any before, and it's intuitive enough for beginners like me to pick it up.
Yeah, I agree. I was a little skeptical that they tend to have the big years where they bring in stuff like 360 dribbling and better control, and then there are the other years which are sort of the incremental updates, and not everyone's going to buy it every year. And this year I was worried it was going to be that kind of minor thing where they tweaked a couple of little things, but it does feel like a genuinely different game. And if you liked FIFA 12 and the more active attacking to dispossess other players, you'll really like this game. And it'll be out later this year in late September on the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and every platform known to man, including iOS and 3DS and maybe not. Yeah, probably Android as well.